presented by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Well, it's truly a pleasure to be in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're in University Place, Washington, and the golf course is relatively new to golf fans, Chambers Bay, and what a magnificent-looking golf course.
And it's building up quite a reputation very, very quickly, and the reason why, well-designed, good test for any level of play. There's enough options out there, enough long holes, enough short holes, so pick your poison, really. But make sure you're on your game, because Chambers Bay, it'll test anyone to the limit.
Down to the first tee now to get the round going, and a stout par 4, Frank.
Yeah, straight out of the gates. The wind obviously very important here. If you were to play it into a head breeze, this would be just a mammoth hole, just under 500 yards. Fortunately, with a little prevailing breeze, though, it'll shorten up considerably, but will bring that bunker on the right in play.
This is when the game is fun, Frank, when you get one high in the air and you have a down breeze and you just watch it stays in the air forever.
Yeah, the hang time on that.
Now the approach here at hole number 1, and Frank, what are we looking at?
Well, semi-blind, but it's fine. You know, just a little peek and you can see what's in front of you. Really no bunkers down the left side. If you do miss down there, a little chip back up the hill, but it's a big enough green.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie.
So a tester from 4 feet. -1 in the early going. Now to the second hole here at Chambers Bay, and Frank, it is not overly long. Where's the trouble here?
Well, 281 yards really to the big long bunker that goes all the way to the green. So as long as you can avoid that, you don't have to hit driver down here, just something that's going to be a little short of that. You're still only going to have 100 yards really, or just over 100 yards in for your second shot. A really good chance, too, to get off to a good start.
Well, he really moved that one. 320 yards and in the fairway. So on the putting surface and taking a good look now at this birdie putt here at the second. Frank, this would be a nice way to jumpstart the round.
Yeah, his momentum can quickly go in the right direction if he makes this.
So close. Came to the putt, excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, little change in the attitude right now. You've let one go. You've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important this one goes in.
At the third tee now, Frank, and what are we staring at here?
This green is anything other than symmetrical, so be very, very cautious on where the flag is. Anything in the middle of the green you can putt to the corners. Well, if you can call them corners. More like ragtails, but beautiful par 3.
Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
And he's made it onto the green now. Settles in over the putt. Frank, we see it every single round. These kind of putts determine whether it's a good score or an average score.
Yeah, and just like that, a bogey. He does not feel like he deserves it.
Frank, standing here on the fourth tee at Chambers Bay, you can see what this golf course is all about with those dunes on the left and all that sand down on the right. A lot of trouble here.
Yeah, first hole, Rich, really that bends to the right, but if anything, you want to keep the tee shot down the left side. It's going to give you a better angle to the green. And unlike the two previous holes, this fairway slopes to the other direction, to the right.
Frank, that is position A.
Yeah, the tee shot was like silk, Rich. I mean, just sets up that second shot so beautifully.
This is a good-looking shot. No problems there. Really good approach shot. And now, good look at birdie.
It's no snack, though.
Hard putt, soft hands, beautiful putt. Well, Frank, here at the fifth, and I'm not sure about my chances at a hole that's called free fall. I mean, are you kidding?
Well, should be free fall for you, that's for sure, and free fall for a lot of people playing it today. Hole looks straight away, but you'll see it starts to pinch in, that fairway that is, by bunkers left and right. And those bunkers come in exactly where you're trying to hit your tee shot.
Always makes the hole easier, throwing it from the fairway. Now the approach shot here at the fifth hole at Chambers Bay, and how difficult is this?
Well, it looks straightforward, but the second shot, once again, just semi-blind. You've got to be very aware of that little central bunker that's just short of the green, because you're either going to have to go over it or around it.
Feet away.
Unlucky for some, but very makeable.
Back-to-back birdies, we'll see. Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
Makeable putt right here. He is currently sitting at 1 under for the round. Nice par to remain 1 under. Frank, now at the 6th, this appears to be a testing par 4 long one.
It is, but once again, a generous fairway. Just use those mounds down the left as an indicator on your line. Hole bends a little bit to the right. Good tee shot, though, and everything is in front of you.
Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for a living. Safely on deck.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. How about a third birdie on the round? On the 7th tee now, it is over 500 yards from the back tee.
Yeah, this is called humpback, and you can see why there's all those mounds and undulations between you and the hole, plus all that amazing bunkering down the right side. All to be avoided, really. If you can do that, then you get a decent look at this green. But yeah, you've mentioned it, 500 plus yards. It's going to play longer than that uphill.
Good contact, good result. Frank, you played in conditions all over the world. Here come the winds now. What's the mindset?
Well, this is really what separates the men from the boys. This is where you've got to tell yourself, and it's an advantage to you. Obviously, the scores will go up a little bit, given the conditions. But once again, this is going to suit the stronger player today.
You like the old phrase, swing easy when it's breezy?
Definitely when you're hitting it into a head breeze. But if down breeze, tee it up a little bit, try and ride that wind some more. And this one just seems to be moving a little left in the air.
Not too bad. Trying to generate some momentum here at the 7th hole. This for birdie. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Just slides by.
Yeah, can't afford to miss too many of those out here today.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Nice par to remain at 2 under. Now to the 8th and a long par 5, Frank.
Fortunately, there's no bunkers, just the dunes either side. The hole looks a little narrow off the tee, but get down there, you're going to realise that's a fairly generous fairway. There's a little bit of mounding in this green, too, that actually slopes it back towards the player. So use that to your advantage.
Excellent drive, Frank, right where you want to be. Setting up for the approach, this player in total command.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The decision-making, club selection has been spot on, but the execution, the swing, is really what I'm admiring right now.
That was just a gutsy shot right there, and a good look at Eagle coming up. This one just requires a little bit of focus. What a putt. That is huge. Really good mix of holes here at Chambers Bay. And Frank, we finished this front side with a par 3 after just having come off that long par 5.
And it's a beauty, too. The tee is some 100 feet up in the air, so you get a great view of this magnificent golf course, and you realize why it's called a true links. This green here, though, it looks rather daunting, well bunkered on the right side, but you can see enough of it. And once again, links, use the bounce, and you can still kick one in there close.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it is going to hurt the course.
Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back. That's an absolute beauty.
All right, Frank, what's the best way to approach the 10th?
This is probably the flattest green on the golf course, Rich, and really, if you miss this green, you've made a mistake. There's no two ways about it. It's probably the most predictable second shot you're going to have on the golf course.
Good swing, good shot yet again. Just a superb shot.
You're not going to see much better than that all day today.
And getting ready for the putt. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Getting set to tee off at the 11th hole, long par 4, 537 yards. Frank, how do you play this hole, with a bazooka?
Yeah, try and take that June out of play, that's for sure, in the middle of the fairway. Bunkers down the left are more for scenic rather than they're not really problematic for the player off the tee. just, as I said, hit it over that dune, and then really there's a ridge in the middle of this green, so you've got to be on the right level.
Interesting, with the almost space-age advancements in golf equipment, what with new, lighter materials, and with the increased focus on fitness and strength, players are hitting the ball longer than ever. That has forced architects to lengthen the golf courses without sacrificing the integrity or the shot value of the original design. Just a pure strike and a perfect result. He'll have a good look at birdie now. Could really use this one. It's for birdie. Six under par now. The 12th here at Chambers Bay is known as the Narrows. What's the play here, Frank?
Two, really. You could just sort of iron it down there, have a little wedge or a pitch in there with no sweat whatsoever. Or, if you want to have a little bit of fun, if you can drive it over that bunker that's just short left of this green, you might just putt for an eagle.
And as he strides up here to the 12th green, having hit it in regulation, he knows now that his work is by no means done. A long putt coming up. Always two components to the long lag putt, the speed, number one, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Starting to fill it up now. 2 birdies in a row and 7 under for the championship. 13th hole now. It's a dogleg right, par 4. Frank?
But at 534 yards, you need an eagle eye, which is the name of the hole, to find exactly where you want to hit this. Doglegs to the right. There is a fairway that's plenty wide to accept a good tee shot. And then from there on in, it's actually a relatively straightforward second shot, providing you can miss that bunker that's just short in the middle of the green.
Just blasted that tee ball, Frank. Frank, on an uphill shot like this one, did you do anything differently in terms of your setup over the ball?
Yeah, I made sure the ball wasn't too far forward, because on an uphill shot, there's always a struggle to get all your weight going forward. This looks like it's going to find the target.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Frank, here's a chance for another birdie.
Oh, it's quite a run. Let's see if he can just make this one.
Frank, this is the 5th par 4 in a row, and they're not easy. This one here at 14, really a daunting tee shot.
It is. That's why it's called Cape Fair. A true Cape hole in golf, Rich, is when you've got to decide how much you want to bite off when you hit across a slight dogleg. And this one, really, you're going to be rewarded the further left you can go. There is one little bunker in the middle of the fairway that you have to avoid. That's going to be 320 or so yards off the tee. This hole, 546 yards, you're going to see a variety of second shots, or the length of second shots here, determined purely by the bravery of the tee shot.
That will be a great look at birdie. Getting set now over the putt. You may have lost track at home, but we're keeping count, and that is 9 under for the day. At last, Frank, a break from those long par 4s. We just played 5 par 4s in a row. Now the par 3 15th.
And also, as you can see in the distance, you can actually see a tree, one of the few that are on the golf course. Hence the name of 15, it's called Lone Fir. Not overly long, just a little short hole. But in the US Open, obviously they can play it at around 250 yards. It's just a fun par 3. But check where that flag is, because sometimes 3 is a good score here. But an easy flag position, and then go straight at it.
Oh, can't hide the flag stick from that man.
I've heard of being on the zone, but this is he's just making it look so easy.
Just sensational golf. I mean, he is knocking down every flag stick right now. What a performance. Now to the 16th hole here at Chambers Bay, and Frank, it is pretty short hole. What are the chances to come out of here with a birdie?
Well, you've just come off the short 15th. You can get on a little bit of a run here, providing you get in the fairway first. You're not going to have an overly long second shot here. But once again, this is a precision hole, a little bit like 15. This is a tabletop green, so you're going to have to be right on the money with that second shot.
Drivable par 4, not for most in this field, but for this guy, yes, he has just knocked it on. What a shot.
Well, that takes the strain off the next one.
Good lag putt right there. Frank, how many is this? I've lost count.
I'm running out of fingers. It's a handful plus 2 more. This for 7 in a row.
Frank, you don't need just a caddy out here at Chambers Bay. Seems like you need a sports psychologist. You start thinking about the names of these holes. Beached at 16, and what's 17 called?
Derailed. And you can see why, too. That green's perched up there. If you've got the round going in the wrong direction, this is not a hole to start on. So if you've got a run going, it's just a good tee shot that lands around the front there. And you just take a 3 here. This is not a time to be a hero.
Beautiful approach shot there, and a good chance to take advantage. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Continues to amaze, yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Now to the 18th hole. Frank, everyone wants to finish in style.
Yeah, the home hole here, once again you head back to just a wonderful view, and you realize that Chambers Bay was designed as a walking golf course, and it was designed to have fun and test every department in your game. 18 will do that. It probably gives you more trouble on both sides of the hole than any other hole on the golf course.
Frank, it makes the game easy when you play it from the fairway.
Especially when you play it from a lie like that.
Okay, the second shot now at this par 5. Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. He'll be pleased with that. The approach shot is about 12 feet away.
It's at sneaky distance.
Frank a little too amped up trying to make eagle there?
Well, you don't get the opportunity every day, Rich, so can't blame him for that. That birdie's the consolation prize.
Knocking down all the shots today, now at 13 under. Frank, you have to like what you saw out there today.
I certainly did. Swing is excellent right now. Stroke, there's nothing wrong with that. Really, just it's a case of getting out of your own way. The opportunities ahead now, chance to win, just they have to be so motivating.